You're tuned in to Ask the Master Auto Technician. Car questions? Get answers right now. Call 850-763-0555.
James Auto Center, we fix it right, guaranteed. Beep, 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 yeah.
Good morning, everybody. This is round two, our second part of our Monday morning show. We were talking earlier about, we're talking about beekeeping. We were talking also about the laws out there, about TPMS sensors. And we're also going to be talking about right now preventive maintenance for your home, for your business, as far as when it comes to plumbing. We have a lot of rain this time of year, and a lot of times things just get slower and slower, such as septic tanks. They clog up. They're actually supposed to be inspected every so often. I don't know if there's a state law making it mandatory to be inspected, but common sense says you need to have them pumped and drained out every so often, or you'll be paying a lot more money later. Good morning, Scott. How are we doing this morning, sir?
We're doing great. How are you, sir?
Doing well. Tell me about septic tanks. I understand that if you don't do the preventive maintenance, whether there's a law to do it or not, if you don't do it in a timely manner, you end up spending a lot bigger bill down the road. Is that?
Well, that's right. There's currently no law there. They tried to pass some laws to make it mandatory to pump every 3 years or 5 years or whatever it was. But, that is the recommendation, that you have it pumped and serviced every 3 to 5 years, just so you preserve the system, so the system will last. And if you fail to do that, then it's definitely going to fail at some point, just like if you refuse to change your oil or, flush your radiator.
Ain't that the truth? Sometimes it's the obvious things that look you right in the face. Now, what are some of the symptoms? I thought about this. I said, people out of sight, out of mind. No one sees their septic tank because other than maybe there's a little mound in their backyard. Are there any symptoms before it gets terrible that people can react? And we've had a lot of rain in the last couple of days. Is that a symptom? Would that demonstrate a symptom that we need to have a septic tank pumped out if we have a lot of rain, if it doesn't want to drain as well, or something like that?
Well, typically the rain tells you that your filling system is failing, and that's the last resort.
Okay.
So it is something that it is out of sight, out of mind. It's typically in the backyard or a place that you don't really think about it until it starts to back up. So you just have to know, it'd be similar to changing your oil. You wouldn't know that you're 1,000 or 2,000 miles over changing your oil until something goes wrong.
That's
It's
true.
the same thing with your septic. You just have to know it's a responsibility of a homeowner to say, hey, it's been 4 years. It's time to schedule a maintenance of pump.
Well, now people so one of the things you're recommending is making sure they say, okay, every 4 years or whatever, just put it on your, budget your pocketbook to take care of that. But is there something they can be doing in the meantime where the pumping or the drain lines or whatever is not such a major deal, where it doesn't cost so much? Is there any preventive maintenance they can do? And I know we've talked about BioChoice, BioChoice, sound like I'm from the South. BioChoice, which is nothing more than I would call it like yogurt for your septic tank system, and the time it takes to work, it doesn't work overnight. So if someone has a stopped up tank, just buying that and sticking in there is not going to solve their problem.
Sure.
Okay.
Right. The preventative maintenance is being mindful of what you allow into the drains, staying away from grease and oils and fats and things that are going to not break down in the system. Staying away from Clorox and chlorine and things that kill the good friendly bacteria.
I never thought about that till I started talking to you about. You just don't think about. You do really well by not having a garbage disposal. You make sure you keep your fats and oils out of the sink, and then you go ahead and put a cup of bleach to wash your whites, and it goes right into where all that is, and now you've killed all the good bacteria.
That's right.
Golly.
So you've got to restore that. Just like after you get done with a round of antibiotics for your body, you've got to restore that good bacteria in your system. It would be the same scenario. So you've got to keep putting the good bacteria in, because there's going to be things that are just in modern life that's going to kill the good bacteria. The antibodies that we take, or the antibacterial soaps and things of that nature.
I didn't think about that. Antibacterial soaps. That, along with taking antibiotics, would probably destroy your septic tank.
It certainly will.
I had no idea. I didn't think about that.
if you're on a water softener, you have salt. Salt's going to kill bacteria.
Dadgum, I had no idea about that either. So salt will actually help speed up the demise of a septic tank.
Oh, absolutely. If you have a salt, water softener, that salt can wreak havoc on that system. That bacteria or that life that's going on in the septic tank.
So, what kind of water conditioner would you recommend?
Well, I guess it all depends on the type of water that you have.
Okay.
If you're on city water and you're just wanting to take out the chlorine and the taste and odor, I would stick with a carbon type filter.
Okay.
That's going to remove those things. There's all sorts of reverse osmosis. If you're on a well, there's aeration systems that will remove the iron, the magnesium, things of that nature. You just have to do your homework and decide what is important to you. What am I trying to accomplish? What am I trying to take out of the water?
So there's just no one perfect water treatment. It depends on what you're trying to accomplish and where you live and the type of water you have. So, like you said.
Exactly.
So I did not know there's an aeration for well. I knew there was salt and carbon and reverse osmosis, and that's about all I knew about. I didn't know there was the other versions out there.
Sure.
I had no idea.
There's very elaborate systems that you can go with if you wanted to go that route.
Wow, I had no idea. What were we going to say? Anything?
Well, one of the things we were talking about in the prior segment here, Scott, was regulations, how regulations have changed our industry. Fill people in on how regulations have changed your industry.
Oh, we're heavily regulated. From plumbing and septic, you can't repair or do anything without a permit. We can't change out a water heater without a permit. And if you try to sneak it in, you're going to get caught at some point when you go to sell your house and the home inspector comes and decides, hey, this water heater is newer than the house. We need to see proof of the permit. Or if you have a flood in your house because of the water heater, the insurance company, that's their way out. Hey, you didn't buy a permit. It wasn't legally done. We are heavily regulated in those areas. Septic is extremely regulated. You can't do any repairs past the tank without a permit, even if it's a minor repair.
Now, what is the purpose? What are the purpose of these permits? Are the purpose of these permits now? Are they to generate revenue for the county? Because if they're, or are they coming behind you and inspecting? Because I pulled a permit for my solar system, and when it was all said and done, I asked them to come inspect it, and they said, "No, we don't do that." I go, "Why not?" And they go, "Well, we just, that's not our job. We know the people who did it right." So I said, "So this is a shakedown? This is just a money way to generate revenue?" And they kind of looked at me, "Well, not really, but it's what we have to do. It's the way the law is." So what I'm asking you is, they don't come behind and check you. They just make sure you buy the permit and have the legal requirements to do that, and they're expecting you to do the work correctly. Is that right?
Well, I can tell you the health department, they are extremely engaged in inspecting.
Okay, good.
To the degree that if we are taking someone off a city sewer and connected them, or septic, and connecting them to city sewer, we have to buy a permit to abandon that septic tank. And the health department wants to come out and see that you've either collapsed the tank or destroyed the bottom so that it can't fill back up with water. And, 20 years from now, somebody drive off into it with a car, not knowing it's there. So they're extremely engaged. I think because the state law, code is law, and code requires you to buy a permit, building codes. I think if we all followed it to the letter of the law, I don't know that the building departments could afford the staff to inspect every single thing that we should buy permits for and do buy permits for.
Right. That's I
can't speak for them, but
I'm just curious because that's one of the things that just it's kind of like being taxed without any representation. You buy something, you expect to get something in return, and that's what kind of bothered me. I said, I bought a permit. I thought I was going to make sure it was installed correctly. Please come look at it. I go, no, we don't do that.
Okay, now I have a question.
Go ahead.
Does right now, is there a regulation that you have to buy a permit to set a toilet?
Oh.
If you change a plumbing fixture.
Okay, so any
and
fixture.
if you follow the letter of the law in the
Wow.
code, it says you have to buy a permit
So
to change a plumbing fixture.
water
Whoa.
heaters, toilets,
Sinks?
I'm
faucets.
sorry, water heaters?
Water
Yeah,
heaters.
what-
Yeah, we're just going through the list of things you have to buy a permit for to replace in your
Yes.
in someone's house. Water heaters, toilets,
Yes.
faucets.
Yes.
Wow. Sinks? I mean, just anything. If you do anything other than put a washer in it, I guess you're going to, or repair it, you're going to have to get a permit. Wow, I had no idea. And these permits.
I haven't gone back and studied it, and it's not top of my mind. But there are certain dollar parameters, and the actual size of the job.
Mm-hmm.
But toilets and faucets and fixtures replacement that falls under what's required of a permit.
See, I am very sure that most people don't understand that.
Right, because I
They
Not
don't.
aware that the government has passed ordinances that require a permit for you to set a toilet.
now,
Right.
now is that for
I mean, really.
is that for the individual or just for plumbers? I was curious about
Well,
that.
no, that's you as an individual.
Wow.
You would have to go to the building department and say, hey, I'm a homeowner, I'm doing my own plumbing. It's technically, if you follow the letter of the law, it's written in the code, and the governor says code is law. So if you change out a water heater, it's supposed to have a permit.
Well, I'm not going to say anything more because that statute of limitations has not run out on any of my plumbing things I've done around here. I'm not going to say
Right.
nothing more. But I had no
Don't get
idea.
you in trouble.
I had no idea that you had to have a permit just to change a wax ring or change your toilet, because it seems like if you're in business, toilets have a lifespan of about 5 years before someone runs into them and breaks them, or someone
Sure.
drops something on it, you got to replace it. It's not a big deal. We just go to Lowe's, pick one up, picks up a wax ring. We take care of it. We're mechanics. We do things like that. But you're saying that if people do that, technically they're in violation of the law, which is something I had no idea about. It's just
Sure.
Wow. Okay. Anyway, the libertarian.
Well, I would say that is a topic that the Libertarian Party of Dade County can certainly take up.
Well, we have our meetings. We're having our January meeting this month, and I was just sitting there thinking about. I had no idea that you had to have a permit to change, because I've changed water heaters before in my rental homes. I've changed water heaters before in my home. They last about 5 to 8 years, and you get rid of them before they go bad. But it's not rocket science. Well, to me, it's not rocket science.
Sure.
And it's not rocket science to you either. But I had no idea that if your water heater does leak and you don't have a permit and your house does flood, your insurance has a legal loophole to wiggle out. I had no idea about that. So
That's right, and that's why we because water heaters are such and it is important to install a water heater the correct way, because it can be a ticking time bomb in your home if the installer does not do the relief line properly.
Correct, yes.
If he caps it off or doesn't put it in the temperature and pressure relief valve, you should have an expansion device to allow for the thermal expansion when the water heater heats up. That prevents your heater from leaking prematurely.
Right.
So there are things, if you didn't install it correctly and it was too hot, you could install it an elderly person or a young person. So there are things with a water heater that a professional should install and should know that maybe a general handyman or homeowner may not understand the severity of that.
that makes good sense. It does.
Yeah,
it makes
'cause
good
that's
sense.
dangerous. Hot water is
Yeah,
dangerous.
maybe I've done things I should have called and got a permit and talked to a professional about. Anyway, if people need to, they can call Scott Hobbs at 763-2001. If you have a problem, it's just a one call. He'll take care of everything from the permits to getting it taken care of and doing follow-ups to make sure it's done correctly. Scott, are you still looking for employees?
We're always looking for good folks that we can train to be plumbers. We ask that they have good home training, good people skills, mechanical ability, and we'll teach them to be plumbers. And, we've got that new website that they can go to, the comfort of their own home. They can go to apply@mrreuter.com, and they can fill out an application there.
Apply at mrreuter.com. It sounds like a lot of fun. If someone's looking to change careers or get a career, give Scott a call or get on the internet first and put in your
now would be a
application.
good time for students to think about it.
Yeah, sure would be. All right, hey, we got to go. We're up against the clock. Scott, I'll talk to you again next Monday. You have a great week, and be careful out there, okay? All right, bye-bye, everybody.
James Auto Center, we fix it right.